I don't know why this fight isn't getting the hype that it deserves, but this fight might be fight of the year. It's either going to be
Fight of
fight
the
of the year
year? I don't
or
know about
knockout
all
of the
that.
year, 100% guaranteed. Diego Lopes versus Jean Silva is absolute fireworks. It's like aiming two firecrackers at each other, which is what they do every July 4th in Chicago, if you didn't know. Aiming firecrackers at each other and just shooting them off.
Roman candles,
But
my
instead of
nigga.
Chicago, instead of Chirac, it's in San Antonio. Shout out San Antonio. I'm a Texas boy. Shout out San Antonio Reagan. Shout out MacArthur. Shout out San Antonio Judson.
What
Y'all
is
whooped us in
that?
football one year. Shout out Cibolo Steele. Shout out James Madison.
Yeah,
Shout
what is
out
he
San
talking
Antonio.
about?
Y'all are getting one of the best main events the UFC has put on all year long. But guys, I have a good feeling about my prediction today. This fight, I've been working on my Canelo versus Crawford prediction, and I've been watching boxing film, and I'm just watching these technicians.
That's the fight. I can't believe that the UFC is involved with Crawford Canelo, and they're also putting on Noche at the same time. Like, I don't understand why UFC would double book itself. If you're involved with the Crawford thing, you already know, like, this isn't a number pay-per-view. You have a regular fight night competing with Canelo Crawford. Now, I would say the best defense for the UFC is that I think most people aren't going to be interested in that Crawford Canelo card for the most part up until Crawford Canelo. Some people, like myself, might watch the Callum Walsh fight versus Vargas, but yeah, I think that's the only benefit for the UFC booking these both on the same date, is that I don't think most people are going to be interested in that boxing card until the main event.
Canelo and Crawford, literally just technicians. No weaknesses, threading the needle.
No weaknesses.
Finding needles in a haystack.
Weaknesses.
These guys, they're like timing when someone's toe touches the ground to land a punch and travel across. And then I go from studying their film back to my home sport of MMA. I go from Crawford doing a half step back and then a 1-2 right as Errol Spence is coming in, right? Just perfect, absolute perfect down to the last detail. I go from that to watching Charles Jourdain like Tarzan hanging onto a vine, hanging onto a leg, and then standing up like this and just absolutely getting his junk rocked, dude. Like the difference in these sports is so
It's Charles Jourdain. Let's
crazy. No boxer would ever leave themselves open like that. But in
They're two
MMA,
different
it's
sports.
just such a broad sport that you get stuff like that. So we're gonna talk about the strengths of Jean Silva, the strengths of
That's a
Diego
weird
Lopez, and then
comparison.
how they compare. And they both have weaknesses because they're not Canelo and Crawford.
Because it's a weird comparison, because you would never in boxing be in a position where you're bent down holding the opponent's leg and then you kind of rise up perfect for to get caught with an uppercut. Like, they're two different sports. You wouldn't be in that position.
Canelo and Crawford have literally no weaknesses. I'm over here trying to figure it out. My channel has a 50% success rating with our predictions, and I'm over here trying to figure out the closest boxing match of all time. Yeah, whatever, dude. All right. So let's talk about Diego Lopes. He has been one of my favorites since he came on the scene, since his debut fight against Evloev. I remember watching that and thinking, okay, who is this? This Evloev, he's like undefeated Dagestani type deal. And then you got some random guy from Mexico. Okay, sure. Let's see what's
Brazil.
going on. Literally one of the best fights I've ever seen. And he just kept doing it. He just kept doming people until they put him on UFC 300 and he domed Brian Ortega. Absolutely rocked Brian Ortega. Wait, that
Multiple
wasn't
times.
UFC 300? No, I'm
There's
thinking
Noche.
no, UFC 300 was when he absolutely rocked.
That was last year at Noche when he beat Ortega, and he beat Sadiq Youssef in the first round at UFC 300.
Sadiq Youssef. Sadiq Youssef standing there just stiff as a board, dude. Stiff as a board. Like standing there like the foundation of a house, dude. Doing his best impression of a house and just getting absolutely rocked, getting an uppercut from hell.
I like
Diego
that fucking.
Then he went to the Sphere and he fought Brian Ortega. Always an excuse with Brian Ortega. Oh my, I twisted my ankle. Oh, I had a rough weight cut. Oh, you know, my beak wasn't fully healed. I'm glad you asked, so I can give you an opportunity to tell you why I lost that fight. You know, always an excuse. Oh, the weight cut was always bad with Brian Ortega, right? Get over it, bud. It's
get
your
over
job.
it.
Exactly.
Exactly.
It's your job.
Fuck
then,
Brian Ortega.
Dude fights Volk, right? And we got this this crazy slow-mo where they fight and they throw the punch and the punch lands at the same time. But hey, he dropped Volk. Diego Lopes dropped freaking Volk. Volk, okay? So the question is, he knocked out Ortega, okay? He dropped Volk. He dropped Sadiq on this rock I will build my kingdom, Youssef. How does he do that? Diego Lopes is one of the most aggressive fighters in the UFC. He does not care who you are. He's going to bring punches to you.
Yeah, but he's wild. All right. When I look at this fight, I see, regardless of Diego coming from the Grasso gym, where you feel like his boxing would be a little better, he's just wild. He comes in with these hooks. He comes in with this blitz. Dude, Diego Lopes, Arnold Allen would be all gas. All right? All gas. That's a fight to make. Once he loses, he book that fight for later in the year. I guess that's my prediction. Just when I personally look at it, I think Lopes is so wild, while Silva is a little more calculated, a little more patient. He's crazy. I just watched the video of him crying, looking at the fight poster, man. That dude is either knocking somebody out or fucking bawling in front, like on camera. It's like he waits for the camera to be there, then he starts the waterworks. It's weird. But I think the leg kick, I think Diego Lopes he has a great leg kick. And I think if he focuses on fundamentals, taking his time, attacking the leg, he could do it. But he kind of rushes forward. And I think he's going to set himself up for the power of Jean Silva, who knocked out Drew Dober. I was there for that. It was beautiful.
He's going to clear distance and bring punches to you.
You've got mail.
And he doesn't care if you're ranked number 2. He doesn't care if you're ranked number 1. He does not care. The problem about that, and you should have seen this right here, is that he eats a lot of punches to get those off. And in this fight against Alexander Volkanovski won like 49-46. They were getting in these brawls. Volk would hit first and third, and also he would hit fifth. And if he was lucky, he'd hit first, dodge the second, dodge the fourth one, and still land the fifth one. That was how Volk was doing that. So that's the weakness. That's the weakness Diego Lopes has. He gets hit a lot, but he lands these, he throws, dude, he's throwing like he thinks he's Shohei Ohtani or something. But he eats a lot. But he will throw and he will land. If he can land on Volk, he can land on you. Now,
where's he fighting?
He's fighting. Who's he fighting, dude?
Ohtani?
Who's he fighting? He's fighting Mr. Oh, hello, Mr. Drew Dober. Your jaw's a little too straight, Mr. Mitchell. Let me fix that for you. He's fighting Mr. Hey, give me a handshake, and I'm going to hit you with this left hook. Man, if this guy loves anything, it's the left hook. He loves that left hook. Hit Bryce Mitchell with it. Hit Melkis Bagdasarian with
that
it.
bullshit.
Here's him hitting. You know, I had animation.
Hey, I'm a bandwagon fan. Shout out to the Brewers. Milwaukee Brewers, #1 team. And
here's him hitting Drew Dober with it. But you know what all these have in common? Oh, here's him hitting Charles Jourdain with it and dropping.
Yes.
You know what all those have in common? Is the guy is rushing in. Drew Dober's rushing in.
That's what I said. That's exactly what I said. I have not seen this video. Lopes is going to rush in and get fucking caught. Silva's so patient. I think, you know, after we saw the Fighting Nerds get exposed last weekend, if you will, that's what people have been saying. But I kind of thought, I picked Nasruddin to dominate Caio Borralho, however you pronounce his last name. I picked that, but I picked Rufy to beat BSD and he got dominated. So I think Jean Silva, even though watching those fights gives me some cause for pause, I think Silva should bring it back up for the fighting nerds.
Bagdasarian is rushing in. Drew Dober's rushing in. Jourdain's rushing in. Silva.
He punished Drew Dober. I couldn't understand. He went up a weight class, short notice, ill-advised, and fucking punished Dober.
Is a masterful counterpuncher. And that left hook, he's always going to have it open. He's always going to have it ready, cocked, and ready. Now, you recognize that left hook? I know you guys see that left hook, right? So, the question is, man, we got the king of rushing in versus the king of catching people when they rush in. But there's a few factors. We can't just say, oh, okay, Lopez is just going to rush in and Silva's going to clip him and knock him out. Good night, San Antonio. Go.
I think Silva is solid on the ground. We saw him finish Bryce Mitchell in his last fight with a was it alligator choke or some shit like that. The ninja choke. He's good on the ground. I think it'll be interesting exchanges on the ground. Yeah, I think Silva should take
go
it.
to your HEB, get some fresh tortillas, and send them to Flying Squirrel MMA. No, that's not what we're going to say. Because there's a little bit of a level difference. The best guy that Silva has beaten has been Bryce Mitchell. And this is post-podcast Bryce Mitchell. But the best person that Diego Lopes has beat has been Brian Ortega. He went 5 rounds with Volk, the GOAT. So there might be a little bit of a difference in level. Okay, maybe he rushes in, but he's had success with rushing in that kind of a...
Lopez's claim to fame still, right? When he came into the UFC, he had a good fight in a losing effort against Movsar. Right now, he's getting more credit for getting a knockdown in a losing effort against Volkanovski.
Style at the highest level. This guy, maybe he's a counterpuncher. Maybe he's fighting, I don't know. Maybe he's fighting guys who work at HEB. Who knows, HGB? Man? Because we've seen the fighting nerds over and over and over again. They have these amazing win streaks against Whataburger employees. They're knocking the socks off of these guys who have been putting honey butter on honey butter chicken biscuits at 11 a.m. You gotta have that cinnamon roll. But then they go and they fight someone in the rankings and they lose. You gotta have that cinnamon roll. All right, so what I want to judge this fight off of, I can't just judge it on resume, I can't just judge it on style, and I can't just judge it on stats. But when I look at the stats, I do see something glaring. Jean Silva is 28. Diego Lopes is 30. Jean Silva is 5'7". Diego Lopes 5'11". Jean Silva has almost, I don't even think I've seen a reach this small.
Tiny reach.
Oh, that's leg reach. My bad.
Oh,
you stupid.
I was about to say.
Okay, my bad. I was tripping, dude. Imagine if his legs, I was reading this.
I was like, damn, that's tiny. Those are his arms?
Okay, yeah, there's no way Jean Silva wins this fight. His arms are 36 inches long. He has a reach of 69 inches. Diego Lopes has a reach of 72 inches. Diego Lopes has very long arms. So Diego Lopes has the height advantage, the reach advantage, the experience advantage, but he has the youth advantage. But if we look at their stats,
height and all that don't
even
mean
though
to me.
Diego Lopes is the king of rushing in and being aggressive and landing these power shots, he actually lands less.
He doesn't throw that often
than Jean Silva. And even though he's the king, right? He has a lower percentage, which we kind of talked about.
Because he puts everything in those hooks and those blitz when he comes forward. Dude, Lopez Arnold Allen is a fucking dream. They need to make that a main event somewhere. I want that fight so bad. The more that I think about how Lopez fights, I want Lopez versus Allen so bad. But he rushes in and he puts everything in what he throws. And that's why he has the lower strikes landed. He's got a terrible strike I think he's going to be out of his element in this one. I could be wrong and that'd be cool, but I think this one is all Jean Silva.
He absorbs more per minute, which we also talked about. And he has worse defense, which we also talked about. Grappling, we haven't talked about grappling. This could be a fight on the ground. And I think if this is a fight on the ground, Diego Lopes definitely wins. So that is a big aspect. But there's something that has to be said about Jean Silva's takedown defense. Jean Silva, he was able to neutralize Bryce Mitchell's takedowns which is something Ilia Topuria could not do. So maybe we should look at that. Maybe we should take that into consideration. But Diego Lopes also absolutely styling on Evloev. And I think I put Evloev's wrestling
styling, he lost.
So how do I come to my conclusion? Guys, I have no freaking idea. I have no freaking idea who wins this. But I am going to go with Diego Lopes.
How?
The reason I'm going with Diego Lopes, he has the height advantage, the reach advantage, the
That's
experience
crazy.
advantage. He's fought at a higher level.
The height and reach advantage is why this guy's wins. That's silly. Everything you've gone through in this video leans on the side of Jean Silva.
Fought for the belt. Literally, he's fought for the belt. One thing, I know I was making fun of Super Sadiq Youssef. One thing that Diego Lopes does really well, if you're standing still, you're going to get popped. Like Super Sadiq 2x4 Youssef.
Starts
if
early.
you don't move, you're going to get popped. And one thing Jean Silva likes to do is stand menacingly at range and wait for you to come in. And so he might pop him as he comes in, but he also might, if he doesn't pop him as he comes in, he might get done bad. And judging by, sadly, I don't want to do this, you know.
Bark on
judging
that
by
nigga.
the way that his compadres have done, judging by the way his colegas have done with the Fighting Nerds, I don't know if this Fighting Nerds gym is at the championship level. I don't know if beating Bryce Mitchell puts you
We'll
at
see, my nigga.
championship level. Diego Lopes has shown that he's at championship level. I don't know if knocking out Charles Jourdain,
Flying Squirrel is a nigga, right? He sound like a nigga. I just assume he's a nigga.
put you in Drew Dober, hitting Drew Dober as he sprints toward and dives at you like he's jumping into a pool. It's not the same as dropping Alex Volkanovski and having close rounds with Alex Volkanovski. It's not the same as absolutely destroying
Maybe not.
Brian Ortega. Like he got rid
got
of
a
Brian
white
Ortega faster
avatar.
than Aljo did. And Aljo is like an all-time bantamweight great. So I think the level is just too different. I think the experience is different. He's a bigger guy. It's going to be harder to beat him. And if I'm wrong, I'm so cooked, guys.
All right, I think I've heard all I need to hear at this point. He's kind of just rambling. But as he's going through it, I'm just like, I don't see any reason how you could pick. I mean, it's a 50-50. Anybody could win. Anybody that has a puncher's chance. And Diego will be rushing in, looking for those chances. That will happen. But as it was said in this video, and I agree with, Diego Lopes is the king of rushing in. And Jean Silva is the king of countering when people rush in. So I think this is pretty much a clear-cut case that Jean Silva should get it done. The only thing that could be a factor is that he has not gone 5 rounds. Hello? He has not gone 5 rounds. Diego has, so that could, if it goes later, we don't know what the gas tank for Jean Silva looks like. So that's one thing that could be a factor. But in the time that we've seen Lopes went 5 rounds. Did he go 5 rounds with Ortega? I believe he went 5 rounds with Ortega. It was 3 rounds. So he did 3 rounds with Brian Ortega, 5 rounds with Volkanovski in a losing effort. He doesn't throw a lot. In general, he doesn't throw a lot. So I feel like he was started to slow down a bit by the 4th round against Volk. And then in the 5th round, he was trying to come forward and give it all he had. But, he needed a finish at that point. We don't know what the gas tank is going to look like if it gets to round 4, if it gets to round 5 for Jean Silva. So that could be an X factor here, but we will find out. But thank you guys for being here once again. Let me know what you guys think about this fight. Who are you picking? And I'll see you guys next time.